yeah, Balan Wonderworld came out in March.
Game of the Year!
You know, on the same day as actual Game of the Year, It Takes Two.
Can I just say, Balan Wonderworld was actually a fever dream. I loved that.
Honestly.
I completely forgot about that game.
Say what you want, guys. At least none of us put Balan Wonderworld in the fantasy draft. Hey, how's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I'm your host for today, Ethan, and joining me, as always, is the boys, Hunter and Kyle. Hey, guys, how you doing?
I'm doing just swell.
You're giggling.
Evening today.
Honestly, it feels kind of weird to be back again, because a couple days ago, we recorded the episode coming after this one.
Shh, movie magic, baby. What the hell are you doing? You're in the
just pulling back the curtain.
Yeah, now they're gonna know that we recorded episode 93 before episode 92. If those are the correct numbers, are they? Hopefully.
I think so. I hope so. That's why I put a question mark in our group, because I'm like, I think this is 93.
Oh, now they know.
Now
they know there was a separate group for it. Oh, what's happening next week? Who knows? We don't know. We did a bit of pre-recording because obviously next week's Christmas and Hunter's going away, and also Christmas, so we're getting it out of the way. So you guys will still have an episode over the Christmas break. We will just leave it and see what happens. We'll see what it is. What is it? I don't know. We recorded it 3 days ago. I've forgotten. But yeah,
we review breakfast foods.
Yeah, it's a riveting episode.
I'd be down for doing that.
Nah, I'm good.
Kyle's down for literally anything
which
except
is a
for talking
good
about
thing
video
we did
games.
do that in episode 93.
Yeah.
Wink.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, welcome back to the HGO podcast, where, unfortunately for Kyle, we do talk about video games every week. You can find us on podcast services everywhere. Just search for Hot Gamers Only, or head to youtube.com/Hot Gamers Only, where you can look at our stupid faces each and every Monday when we go live at usually around 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. UK. Around that time. Sometimes it's a bit later, sometimes a bit earlier. So be sure to get in search.
It's in the ballpark.
Bit of news. Spotify now has a star feature, a review feature on Spotify. Most of you guys, if you're an audio listener, the majority of you are on Spotify. So while you're listening to us today, we'd absolutely love it if you just clicked on your phone the little rating button and clicked us and give us 5 stars. We'd really appreciate it because it will help boost us in the algorithm so more nerds can find us, and then you're not alone anymore. How amazing is that?
Please.
But no, seriously, any ratings would be great. Please don't 1-star it, because that will probably destroy the podcast. But hey, 5 stars.
Literally end our careers.
And our careers, and you don't want that. We've already done 92 episodes, looking at that number again. And you don't want us to stop on 93, because we've got to promise 93 now, because we've made it. But we might stop if you don't give us a 5-star review. Thank you. And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, you can...
93rd episode.
We're going to hold it hostage unless you give us a 5-star review. But yeah, we would really appreciate it. And also, if you do listen on Apple Podcasts, that also has a rating feature, a review feature. So if you could give us a positive review on there, that'd be excellent as well. Thank you so much for everybody that has done so far. We might start reading some of them out, giving some people some shout outs for doing it, because it does actually genuinely boost the ratings on podcast services. So we do appreciate each and every one of you. We don't just mean it so we look good. Genuinely, the more reviews and positive reviews we have, the more likely Apple and Spotify are to go, hey, people like this, let's shove it and put in front of more people. So we really would appreciate it. Other than that, yay, you gotta love it. Whereas YouTube's just I don't know. Maybe the one about Riot's fight will be popular. Maybe one about a topic you all love will get 20 views. Yeah, let's go. I'm just trying to think, is there any other housekeeping? I don't think so. We are back next week. We brought that up. And yeah, other than that, this week, we are going to go and do a bit of a rundown of 2021. We're going to go through all the games that came out, the highs, the lows, games we think deserve more love, games we think got too much love. We'll go through them all. Not harshly or anything like that. We're not just going to go Deathloop shit, am I right, guys? Well, hey, and start harassing
again
anyone. We're not going to do that, but we're going to have a look at the year, see what our overall opinions are, and then we'll be back in 2 weeks or 3 weeks with our Game of the Year awards and stuff like that. We'll come up with a bunch of categories and we'll dish out some fun rewards. There we go. So shall we just dive into it? Shall we get straight into it, Kyle? You're going to be our guide on this whistle-stop tour of 2021.
All right. Hunter, you said you got the list open too, right?
I do, yes.
All right.
On his phone, though.
So, I'm looking at... So right now we got January pulled up, and I'm thinking... Hitman 3 kind of seems like the only notable game from January.
And what can we say other than... Bless IO, because they made an absolutely incredible game. Some say it's the best game in the franchise, and by the time we got to year's end, quite literally everybody forgot it came out. Not even a nomination for action game. Never mind like game of the year.
How are you gonna say
their
that Back
VR
4
game
Blood gets a nod over that? Come on.
There's VR as well.
Their VR game got a nomination, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it got a nomination and lost to Resi 4.
Classic.
Feels bad.
Genuinely, I feel so bad for IO because that game was incredible. It did so well that they have the Bond IP now. It's the best selling Hitman game in the series apparently, or something along those lines. It was the fastest selling or best selling. And I mean, me and Hunter, we played Hitman 1 this year. We didn't play Hitman 3.
Yeah, we did.
Maybe we'll get to
it
Hitman
because of just the buzz. It is on the list of games that like I tuck away when the year ends. That I'm like, all right, I need to get this, and this. Hitman 3 is there. It is going to be played at some point.
Oh, but you can't skip Hitman 2 now. We're too deep. Hunter, we're too deep. We have to go year by year. Next year's Hitman 2 year. But yeah, like I can't believe how absolutely robbed this game has been from any kind of praise. Like some people are sitting there saying X game's been robbed or X game like other games been robbed. I've seen people being saying Forza's been robbed. It hasn't been robbed. It's been getting all the Game of the Year awards by every other outlet. So don't worry about that.
It got a 92.
Yeah, it got IGN's Game of the Year.
Yay, car game.
Yeah, it's doing. But Hitman, that is genuinely the game that everyone just was like, bye, out of my brain, and I feel really bad for it.
Yeah, feels bad. Sucks.
But hey, everyone did love it, IO. Just remember that. Even though they forgot it by year's end, everybody loved it. But was that the only game that came out in January?
That's all I'm really seeing.
It was a slow start to the year. That's all I remember. And if we do want to talk about the year in review, it was a very slow start to the year. It's been a trickle year in general, but it's been a very slow. It was a very slow.
Medium came out right at the end of January, but I still don't have that much to say about that because I haven't played it yet.
Classic.
I think another thing that happened was Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game, finally came back into the world after being locked away on Xbox Live and being unable to download it from the store because it was download only.
Yeah, and that was cool. The thing with Scott Pilgrim to me was it was one of those lost games that everybody that played it really liked. And I'm glad it's now back. But I looked at the gameplay straight away and I'm like, this isn't for me. This is for people... To me, this is for people that... It's the original Scott Pilgrim audience, which are people that grew up in the arcades, that genuinely grew up going to arcades in the 80s and then watched Scott Pilgrim and read the books and were like, yeah. It's not for people like me that saw the Edgar Wright movie and was like... at like 8 years old or whatever, and was like, hey, that was pretty cool. And it was just like, yeah. But I'm glad it's finally out of the hands of Ubisoft anyway.
Yeah. And there's also the Yakuza Remaster Collection towards the end. I don't know.
Those games were already out, weren't they? Was that for PC?
For Windows and Xbox.
Fucking Xbox.
I should say this. What I'm looking at right now is the Wikipedia that just puts in everything.
I'm looking at my list here, and genuinely, other than Hitman 3, nothing else really mattered. Yeah. So, I say we move on to February. By the way, timestamps, we're doing this by quarters, so we're doing first quarter. I'm not doing January, then February, then March. So you've got January through March right now. And trust me, this will probably be the shortest segment.
It sure will.
Let's move on to February. There's a couple I have here, so don't forget.
I'm seeing
Destruction.
Probably Mario 3D World.
No, you forgot
Bowser's
Destruction
Fury.
All Stars. You forgot Destruction
Do
All
we have
Stars.
to? Do we have to remember?
I just want to say,
Ethan has to because he committed time to recording footage for a video.
for a review that never went
Never saw
out,
that.
because I want to talk about it because those are review that was supposed to happen in Destruction All Stars. There's a thumbnail, there's partial script, there's 5 hours of game footage that is still on this hard drive. The reason that it never came out was to this day, still cannot come up with all of that essay writing skills, all those university skills that I've built up. I cannot convey any semblance of an emotion towards that video game. It's that dull. Like, I cannot convey any way to describe it in a positive or negative manner. It is so bland and forgettable that
It certainly exists.
I almost feel sorry for Lucid who made it, because it's a technically, like, controls wise, it's a competent video game. It just has absolutely nothing going for it. And if the rumors are true that they're doing Twisted Metal, that's good, because they need an IP to work with. They can't.
At least Twisted
ride
Metal
on their
has
own.
personality and things that people like attach to.
Yeah, because my God, it was so bland. I played it for one night and I was like, I guess I'm done. And I think the whole rest of the world was. And I feel like the only reason that
There
people
were a
gave
lot
it,
of games like that this year.
I feel like the only reason people gave it a day as well was because it was free on Plus. That was the only.
That's true.
That was the only plus for it. But yeah, man, so forgettable. And
Also, it was PS5 exclusive.
yeah, it was supposed to be a launch game that was. Imagine paying $70 for that one. Fuck me, no. But man, yeah, I genuinely could not convey any emotions towards it, and that's why you never got a review. But hey, it's dead now anyway. It isn't, but it's dead. It's dead. It's dead.
It's dead. It can't hurt you anymore.
They haven't killed it, but it's dead. Then it was 3D World.
3D World, yeah. How'd you feel about it?
Well, I love 3D World.
I also love 3D
It's a
World.
great game. That's like what, 8 years old. It's a great like 8-year-old
Used
game.
to be stuck on the
Yeah.
Wii U.
Glad it's no longer stuck on the Wii U. I wish this got moved before fucking New Soup U. But hey ho, here we go. Bowser's Fury was a fun 2-hour demo, and that's like, it's a cool little bundle, and I think it's a good value proposition especially if you've never played 3D World. If you've never played 3D World, Bowser's Fury and 3D World as a bundle is an absolute steal, because you're getting one of the best Mario 3D platformers, and you're getting a really solid like tech demo. It's a very good deal.
Yeah.
If you're just buying it for Bowser's Fury, unless you're a massive 3D Mario platformer fan, you will probably play it and go, that was cool, but I paid full price for this. While it would 100% go on my overrated games list. If we were to make an overrated games list, Bowser's Fury would definitely be on there. Not because it's bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I remember Twitter, when this game came out, was bursting with comments like, it's the greatest 3D Mario thing I've ever played, or this is the future of Mario. And I'm like, it's a 2-hour tech demo. Chill the fuck out. Like, it's Mario Odyssey without the world like loading borders. It's just
Without
it goes
the
from
depth.
world. Yeah, and it's also
Without the hat.
and it's also
Yeah.
extremely tedious in
Gives
ways.
you a kid instead.
It's also extremely tedious in other ways, where, for example, people are like, oh, it's like seamless Mario Odyssey, where you just go from area to area and the stars work magically. I'm like, no, because once you get the cat shine, you then have to go out of the level and deload it and then load it back in so the next one spawns. So you have to leave and come back anyway. So it's not like a unified Odyssey, but I digress. It's fun, but it's what it is. It's a glorified tech demo, which is a fun time, but still great, just a tiny bit overrated, in my opinion.
And 3D World is also super freaking fun. If you
Yeah.
can get a group of friends together to play that game, like it's a blast.
Try do it locally though. I
Yeah.
heard that the online wasn't great.
I remember, yeah, the online was better than most, but still not fantastic. But yeah, 3D World's always been a great game. It's just Bowser's Fury. People were acting as if Bowser's Fury was worth the price of entry alone. And I know Nintendo fans are crazy, but I didn't realize they were that fucking crazy. I didn't realize they were $60 for 2 hours of gameplay crazy, but you know, Nintendo fans be Nintendo fans. What's next?
Persona 5 Strikers got its worldwide release.
It sure did.
Finally.
It was a lot of fun.
It broke free. Break free Persona, am I right?
I know, right? Break in to break out.
Oh, fucking hell. We could have talked about the Persona leak this week, but we won't talk about the Persona leak this week. Of potentially Golden coming to PS4. Spoiler alert, it's probably an error on Atlus's side, because Atlus hates porting things to consoles that will do well on. Hence the Switch having no Persona games of merit. Strikers, I don't know about you, Hunter. It hasn't stuck in my mind particularly that much this year, but I had a blast playing it when I did.
Okay, so I'll think about things that happened in it every now and then, and I'll be like, yeah, that was great. But it hasn't stuck in my head the same way that I'll think about parts of Royal every other day sometimes, you know?
It was a very competent Muso game. Especially after coming off Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which to me was a great game that was severely flawed because, my god, the performance in that game is horrendous, and it's just me sitting there going, come on, please Switch, get an upgrade. I know Hunter hates the shivers at the thought, but I'm just like, Switch 2, just give me a Switch 2 if needs be, because fuck me. I'm sick of games running like Age of Calamity. But then moving from playing Age of Calamity on Switch at a barely functioning 60 FPS, I think it was it even 60? I feel like at times it was just 2 FPS at times. From going to that
Did
to playing...
Did you ever play as Hestu? Because it certainly was 2 FPS when you played as him.
Oh, definitely. But I went from that experience to playing Strikers on PS5, where you could play it in resolution mode at a locked 60, and that thing did not fucking dip once. And it was like, oh, I can see why people find this fun now. I understand Muso games. Especially because it did this weird thing where it wasn't... it was as if...
It was more encounter-based rather than the open field madness for a lot of it.
It was.
It made it work for the world of Persona really well that way.
Yeah, it was as if most of the time Muso spin-off things in different franchises like Hyrule Warriors is, it's their game with a Zelda coat of paint. Whereas Strikers very much felt like, what if we took the Muso concepts and blended them with Persona concepts so that you have encounter battles and you have the magic system with weaknesses and resistances and you have all-out attack.
You can even stop to bring up the menu for you, list of things and stuff.
It was a really interesting game, and I am glad it finally came out. And I'm terrified to see what's next for Persona, because it's either a long list of spin-offs that nobody wants, or Persona 6 might be teased next year, which I think it will be in next fall. I think that'll be the thing, and then we will all cling to a 2026 release date. Can't wait. Next up.
All right.
I think that was it for February.
Yakuza Like a Dragon is a thing.
Oh, that came out. That was out early last year anyway. That was just the PS5 version because Xbox bought timed exclusivity for the next gen version of Yakuza. By the way, can we say fuck my... that's a shitty... I hate straight up exclusivity. PlayStation's been pissing me off doing this for a while now with its Square Enix games in particular, where they just keep going, what's that Final Fantasy VII remake is for me, and then they just take it for everybody. I hate that shit.
What's that? A new version to re-up the time limit?
Yeah.
You don't mind if I do. Hippity hoppity, this game is my property.
It's not worse, because you still could play Like a Dragon on PS5 using the PS4 version, but it's such a bizarre... think I'm gonna pay you money so we only have the next gen version for 6 months seems like the most arsehole move, because it's not even stopping the console from having it for a while, it's just stopping it from looking higher res for 6 months. It's so fucking arbitrary.
It's the weirdest move since the Tomb Raider exclusivity.
Which PlayStation fans only ended up winning in the end, because when it came out a year later, they got the edition with all the DLC for half the price. So it was Xbox lost on that one. And
I feel Xbox lost on that one. I feel like Crystal lost on that one, because half of the people who cared about Tomb Raider when it would have released on if they released at the same time, were I don't care now.
I mean, I'm sure Crystal was fine.
Or at least that's what happened. Yeah. That's what happened with me anyway. I would have played it when it dropped originally, and then like I don't know, by the time it was ready to be out, there was other things.
I'm sure Crystal was fine because I'm sure they got a fat paycheck from Xbox to do that. But at the same time,
That's fair.
same with Yakuza. It is always a weird one because Yakuza is in my head. It is like when I think of Yakuza, I don't know about you guys, but with all this recent stuff with it being on Game Pass and Xbox advertising a lot of the Yakuza stuff, it is starting to slowly get in my head when someone says Yakuza. I do start to slightly think Xbox when I'm thinking about consoles. And that's weird because that's like the only Japanese game that I ever have that association of, like, even getting slightly close to being related to Xbox. Because like everything else is Nintendo or Sony. So their marketing's slowly working. Maybe they'll actually buy exclusivity for the next Yakuza and hell will break loose. But no, that genuinely was it for February, like we said. Bravely Default 2 came out. Did anyone play that?
It sure gave me a nice poster.
It does make me laugh.
I never played the game.
What? Did you buy it? How'd you get the poster?
It was just a reward from my Nintendo.
Oh.
Our Nintendo.
I'm not interested in the game, but damn, this artwork is pretty.
Fair enough.
March,
Yakuza was March, yeah. Yakuza was March, apparently. What are you on about? Those great games was Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. Shame Kane's not here. Marvel's Avengers got its next gen patch, so Hunter could sigh another time. So did Crash, I believe.
Oh yeah, Balan Wonderworld came out in March.
Game of the year.
Oh, that disaster.
On the same day as actual Game of the Year, It Takes Two.
Can I just say, Balan Wonderworld was like actually like a fever dream. I loved that.
Honestly.
What a great week.
I completely forgot about that game.
What a great week. I honestly enjoyed that so much. It was like, it was just crazy. You had all the people being like, what the fuck is this? You had all the stupid YouTube videos. You had Jeff Grubb actually beat the fucking thing, and that's what he was most famous for a while, was just the guy that beat Balan Wonderworld. You had that YouTuber that 100%ed it and nearly was like, I'm done with video games. It was a great time to be alive.
Do you remember that one clip that was going around of like the Foxbox power-up? Where
it just turns you into a box.
And it takes away all your control, and you just slide across the floor.
And it keeps you momentum, so you just fall off and die.
That game was bizarre.
I remember in like the week or two running up to the game, someone on like a Discord server talked about being like excited about it just because they knew of the body of work of the director or whatever, and did not know anything about the demo being atrocious. I'm like, hey, buddy, temper your expectations.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want.
He gave me a squinty face in response to that. I'm like, classic. Yeah.
Say what you want, guys. At least none of us put Balan Wonderworld in the fantasy draft. We'll get to that at some point next year, but at least we didn't.
I'm surprised Jack didn't.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I actually went and checked to see if he did, because I was like, did he? No, he didn't. My favorite part of Balan Wonderworld was how every area ended with a fucking dance segment every time. That was incredible. How it had like a musical.
Does every button do the same thing?
Every button did the same thing. Literally, the controls were all four face buttons, and the triggers did the exact same thing, which was jump.
I heard about that when people were talking about the demo, and I was like, that can't be real. I downloaded the demo for like 2 seconds, and I'm like, it is real. And then I walked around for 5 minutes and turned it off.
My second favorite thing about it is how Balan Wonderworld had a really complex and intriguing story that's not in the video game. They put it into a prequel comic and expected people to read the prequel comic while playing the game, so they just removed the stories. They were like, the story gets in the way of the gameplay, so we're going to put the story in the comic so people that just play the game and play this fever dream where they don't know what's going on.
Dude, that's some Kingdom Hearts shit.
Oh, it's better than Kingdom Hearts. They at least admitted that the story was bullshit, and they were like, we'll just let people have a panic with just the gameplay and see what happens. Disco Elysium also made it to consoles, but that's about it.
Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah, Monster Hunter Rise, but we don't play that.
Haven't played it. Happy for my fantasy league.
I just feel like we should mention that before someone yells
at us.
And
It Takes Two. We should probably give It Takes Two a proper shout out.
That a minute ago, yeah.
Yeah.
game of the year for Game Awards. What a
actual
great
game of
game
the
for
year.
Joseph Fares, man, and the team at Hazelight. Good shit. Happy for them.
Yeah.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer game, really.
Mm.
Can't wait for next year where generic AAA thing wins. Gonna be fun. Will it be God of
Classic.
War? Will it be Zelda? The only answer is it won't be Horizon, because Horizon always gets cooked, dude. Let's go. Hype train.
Pour one out for Aloy.
Right, well, that's quarter one. As we said, pretty slow. Shall we move to quarter two? Where things will continue to be slow for a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
do
April started out with Oddworld Soulstorm.
it. Ooh, man. Did I say...
So clearly it went up from Balan Wonderworld.
That game came out in such
better
a...
than Balan.
It was, but it came out in
'Cause
such
at least
a
it
rough
functioned.
state. It came out in such a bad state, though. That game shouldn't have released, man.
Alright, didn't Sam play it for a little bit?
Yeah.
He did.
And he said it wasn't bad, but it was buggy as shit. And then, like, just last month or the month before, they released, like, the enhanced edition or whatever, which was just... They were re-releasing it just again, like, doing a second, like... a second advertisement campaign because they fixed the game, and I was like, why didn't this game just come out then? Like, it was a bit of a disaster. How does Oddworld make money? That's my thing. Is Oddworld seems to have its set of fans and they're very dedicated, but how many of them are there? Because they keep making them. There must be enough of them.
It just felt like this game was being shown to us for like 5 years.
It was the Deathloop effect where
Yeah.
we were sick of seeing it.
Yeah. At least this one had the courtesy to stop after it came out.
Yeah, true. We were looking at you,
Yo,
Godfall.
Pac-Man
Stop
99
showing up.
came out in April?
Oh, that's a good that came out this year award, because I forgot that even existed. Fuck.
Yeah, it didn't have the
What's
same...
Pac-Man 99.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't have the same sticking effect that Tetris did for me, but it was still fun to screw
None of
around
them
with
have
for the
had-
weekend.
None of them have had a sticking... Tetris 99 continues to get updates and stuff. Every other one of them kind of stopped. Like, obviously Mario was
35 doesn't even
timed.
exist anymore.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
a timed release. Then
it
you
got
had
put in...
Pac. There was one after. There was one before Pac, wasn't there? A Mario. What was the other one?
Was there?
I feel like
I
there
don't
was.
think so.
Let me have a look. I feel like there was one that did terrible.
I can't recall.
I have no idea. I thought it was
Maybe
just
I am
those
thinking
three.
of Pac 99. Maybe that's what I am thinking of. Oh well, I can't see for what the next entry in the 99 franchise next year. My bet's on Zelda 99, and it'll be shit.
Metroid
Balloon-
99.
Balloon Fight 99. So I can make a 99 red balloons joke.
Okay, Balloon Fight could actually work. And that's the scary part. Yo, Ice Climber 99?
Who knows? I'm just looking at the rest of April, because fuck me, April was also a bit slow, wasn't it? You had MLB Classic, Bonafide Unclassic, Near Replicant. That came out this year.
Didn't get to it.
That was
Didn't
a
get
game.
to it. I'm sure we'll have an
It
excellent
won,
episode
it
of the
won
podcast.
Album of the Year.
Fucking achievement. I'm sure we'll get back to
Begrudgingly,
that
yeah.
one next year. You know, I'm sure Replicant will be something that me and Hunter will at least play next year, probably, or the year after.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. We'll probably talk about it at the
But,
podcast at some
like,
point.
yeah, April, like March and April for me, I spent playing Bloodborne and Hollow Knight. So not games that came out this year. up
Same.
until
I played.
Returnal at the end
I
of the
played
year.
Bloodborne and something else. I caught up on my backlog. For
I
something.
think this was when I was playing the Xenosaga trilogy.
It was.
So that had me pretty filled up.
Other little things. Genshin Impact finally got its PlayStation 5 update, which means it was finally playable on PlayStation systems for the first time. Congratulations to Genshin. Kyle's favorite release happened on April 30th. New Pokemon Snap.
Returnal? Yeah, I love that game.
Any comments on New
Thanks,
Pokemon
buddy.
Snap, Kyle? Your favorite game?
No.
No.
I have said everything I've ever wanted to say about that game, and would like to forget it like the rest of the world did.
Yeah, don't worry. It sold like its Pokemon Snap number of units, which was probably too many for Pokemon Snap. But there you go.
I too love a $60 photo mode.
And then Hunter, you can talk about this one, April 30th, Returnal. released on
Yes,
PS5.
Returnal, one of the standout games of the year. The first truly next-gen thing I got to play. It was great. I still enjoy thinking about my time with it. I'll go back and play it someday.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ability to save the game in mid-run.
I'm looking forward to playing it. The reason that we're not doing Game of the Year next week like we did the year before, one of the main reasons why I've been holding off is because I kind of want to play Returnal. That's the one big game that I feel like I missed out on this year that I didn't give a chance to. Guardians is the other one, but also Guardians can wait.
Yeah.
And Forza and Halo, unfortunately. I could play Halo, but I'll just play it on the fridge when I eventually get a fridge to justify buying a fridge, you know what I mean? So, and Forza, I'm sure it's great.
I'm glad that Returnal got some love throughout the year. It was constantly being brought up in conversations, and I was genuinely shocked when Keeley's Awards didn't have it nommed for Game of the Year.
Yeah, that was the one robbery of that nominations list, probably. Why was Resident Evil?
At least it won Best Action Game.
True.
Yeah.
True. Why was the next one that came out in May nominated for Game of the Year and Returnal wasn't? Resident Evil Village. May 7th. Hunter, what were your opinions on Resi 8?
It was okay. You know, it wasn't very scary, but I enjoyed it for the time I spent with it. Dimitrescu was fun. Heisenberg, one of the other enemies, were fun. Ethan Winters sucks. This Ethan's cool though.
No, thank you.
He's alright.
I'm alright.
But I don't understand. It seems like there are a lot of people who like it substantially more than I did. Which, okay, fair enough, I guess. It was just kind of... I liked it more than 5 and 6. I did not like it as much as the 2 remakes that preceded it in the past years.
I do remember people talking extremely highly about it when it did come out. That's something that I do remember. People were talking about it. I remember you saying it wasn't scary, and all I remember is the internet saying that one particular bit made them shit themselves, and I was like,
I know exactly what bit they're talking about.
Oh, I know what bit they're on about. They're on about the bit with the doll, right?
Yeah, that was this weird deformed baby in this dollhouse.
Yeah, the dollhouse.
And I was like, oh, that probably got some streamers really good.
Not Hunter though.
And then I turned around and went the other way.
Hunter was like, haha, very scary, and walked away, and just like...
it elicited an eyebrow raise.
Good for you. You tried. Good for you. Did anything else come out in May? Mass Effect Legendary Edition. A trilogy that I am yet to get to. I do need to get to the Mass Effect trilogy at some point.
I've wanted to try out the Mass Effect games too at some point, just because I feel like I should, since I liked Dragon Age so much.
I'm going to do a quick price check. Can we get a price check in the chat? How much is Mass Effect? Oh, it's still full price. You can fuck that one off. Ooh. I was literally sitting there. This is bad, right? Because I still haven't got all my presents. I was like, Mass Effect? I'm sure my dad would probably like Mass Effect. I wonder. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. And then it was full price. I'm like, not that much. You won't enjoy it that much. Goodbye. See you in another 3 months.
That's funny.
But no, that came out. People seem to like that remaster. So, hey, can't complain. The critically acclaimed delisted MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV came to PlayStation 5. It's now no longer on PS5, but
it's no longer anywhere.
It's no longer anywhere.
It's gone.
Oh,
this is when the Nocturne remaster.
Yeah, I was going to say Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remastered featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series released on May 25th. If that came out,
featuring Dante DLC from the Devil May Cry
series. True. That came out, and SMT fans were happy, I think. I don't remember. And then that was really it.
It's a coin toss.
I feel like if you're an SMT fan, you're just happy to get anything.
True. The SMT fans can fuck off this year. They got a remaster and a new game. They can't be like, oh, we're starving over here. Help us. Atlas, we're starving. I mean, wasn't
took my only food.
SMT4 SMT4 Apocalypse was 2016. They haven't been starving for long. They got like a 5-year wait. They should be looking at the Bethesda
SMT4
phone.
a 3DS game?
Yes, but it was a late
It
P4
was.
Apocalypse, which was the sequel, the second one. Because P4 SMT4 got 2 entries. Remember?
P4.
I nearly said P4. P4 only got 1 entry, and it was in 2012. Because who played the original? Only the Vita. Because Vita was the most successful console ever.
Sure was. I'll get mine out of the box.
But yeah, no, because SMT4 Apocalypse came out in like 2016. It was a really late 3DS game. It was like really late. So they only waited like 5 years. And yet they acted as if Atlas had gone all in on Persona when it was just Persona's turn, and now it's SMT's turn again. And Persona will come back around the corner for the 25th anniversary. And then SMT6 will come out in like 7 years. It'll be fine. Back to sleep, SMT. But no, that was really it for May.
Yep.
And then June was so much more lively, am I right?
June was definitely where I
June
think
is
the
where
year started
things
to pick up.
I do want to start with a little game that I think was underrated because I played it with a friend. Operation Tango came out on PS5, which was a Plus game, which was like it was a co-op spy game. Surprisingly good, pretty short. I played it with my friend Ed, but a good set of puzzles. If you got it on Plus and you have a friend that's willing to play it online and party, it's a fun 2 hours. It's interesting. Not incredible, but
cool.
Deserves a shout out at least because it was free if you had Plus. What's next?
Chicory, a colorful tale, came out in June, and that's another one that's on my list of things to get to from this year.
Some people's game of the year.
Yeah, I think I'd like it quite a bit.
Yeah.
The same day, Final Fantasy VII Intergrade.
No, not the Yuffie DLC that was half good. No.
Plot twist, the half Ethan is talking about is the Fort Condor.
I didn't hate Fort Condor as much as I thought I would hate it, and that's the biggest compliment I can give to Fort Condor. I wish I could be kinder to Fort Condor. I cannot. God, can I just say the actual remaster of Final Fantasy VII Remake, that is the way to play Final Fantasy VII Remake. If you have held out to this point and haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remake and have a PS5, play the PS5 version. If you're intending to get a PS5 in the next year or so and haven't played Remake, wait and play the PS5 version. Because there really isn't a reason to go and play the PS4 version anymore. Because it's inferior in every single way.
Unless you like staring at loading screens.
And 30 FPS and half the frame rate. Yeah. You choose. The expansion, though, was fine. It was like...
It was okay. I mean...
It had some cool moments.
Yeah, it had some interesting things in it. Like, it's good that it was only, 2 hours. The rock remix of that Happy Turtle song was amazing.
Happy Turtle! Yeah.
It was so good. I wasn't expecting it at all. Like, oh man, that's fantastic. But it was like, it's a decent setup for Yuffie to, be introduced without needing to, segue into something else when she gets introduced.
Yeah, and Yuffie, to be fair, Yuffie is really well done. Like, she's really good character, and I like her quite a bit. So I have absolutely no problem with Yuffie or any of that. All good stuff. It was just the content, because half of it was just chapter 17 again from fucking base game, which is already my least favorite chapter in the game, where it's just a fucking lab, and I hate it. The first half of that, the first half in the Sector 7 slums.
The chapter's so bad that I had to play for Kyle.
I was going to say, is that the chapter I gave you
Hojo's
the controller
lab.
for?
Yeah, it's Hojo's lab.
Cheers, bro.
Chuggers for that one.
Buddy.
Yeah.
No problem. But yeah, the slums in the beginning was nice. Like, when I first started it up, I'm like, man, yeah, I'm happy to be back here.
Yeah.
And then I changed my mind when I was like, oh no, now I'm back in the Hojo lab.
Yeah, the Hojo lab bits, but still, it was decent enough. And we got to give credit where it's due. Square Enix actually did give the remake upgrade for free. You did have to buy the DLC, but they did give the upgrade to PS5 for free, which everyone who knows Square Enix knows, hey, that's pretty decent for Square, because they're usually the kind of people that are like, buy it again, fucker. So can't complain.
But if you're on the PS4, you can suck it.
Yeah.
Which is why I never played it.
Yeah.
Haha.
Hey.
Thank you, Square Enix. Hating me since 2005.
It's always fun.
Why 2005?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Moving on. What else came out?
Would you have played it anyway, Kyle?
I don't know.
Probably not.
I probably would have thrown that shit on easy mode.
I wanted to do that.
I wasn't a fan of it was the combat in Remake that really just dragged it down for me. I just wasn't a fan. I couldn't get my head around it.
You see, I liked it up until the point where I went for the Platinum, and now I've got to the point where I've got the Platinum on PS4 and PS5, and I've played that game that much now that I'm so fucking sick of that combat that I'm like, I'm not playing Remake again until the sequel comes out, and hopefully they've spiced the combat up a bit, because I feel like I've burnt myself out. Let's talk about a game that you'll know quite a bit about and have some opinions on, Guilty Gear Strive.
Oh, yeah.
June 11th.
This was one of our first double dip games.
Was it?
Guilty Gear Strive was a fighting game that I feel had a lot of hype going into it, and I feel for a lot of people it definitely lived up to that hype of being like the first big fighting game to use rollback netcode
and now
to get itself working.
It's like
And
a
now it
fucking
won't go away.
rash, dude. It's like a rash. Everyone's got the cream, yet it won't fucking go away, because
I mean, they've shown that it works and that it can be really, really well done. Like, Guilty Gears Online has been the smoothest online fighting game experience I've ever had.
Someone hasn't tried Nick All-Stars Brawl.
I think I've had, like, one match that has felt unplayable.
Yeah, that's fair.
Playing this game for at least 100 hours. But
no.
Unfortunately, like a lot of fighting games, it's something you need to put a lot of time into, and if you're not, it's a game where your character can just blow up very quickly, so you don't really get a chance to be like, oh, what did I even do wrong here?
Yeah,
I pushed
just
one
go
wrong
in
button
and push the buttons faster than they can.
Exactly. I don't know. I heard a lot of praise for the game, and yeah, I just think it was a good fighting game that pleased who it needed to please.
Killer soundtrack too.
Killer soundtrack. Not nominated for
Cannot
best
stress
soundtrack.
that enough.
Says tune.
Not nominated for best soundtrack though, so obviously it sucked.
Obviously.
Feels bad.
Albums on Spotify, go listen to it. The
Hi.
other game that came out on June 11th, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart.
Yeah, man, that game came out
You
this
two
year.
take it.
It's a Ratchet and Clank game, man. Oh,
It was pretty solid. It was a nice weekend.
it's my second best. It's probably I said this when it came out. It's probably the best Ratchet and Clank game ever made. It's probably my second favorite Ratchet and Clank game ever made. Saying that, it's a Ratchet and Clank game, Your Honor. I rest my case. It was just damn fun, and it was damn good at what it wanted to do. But I can see why it won no awards at the Game Awards, because it's been doing exactly what Ratchet and Clank's been doing since 2002. It is just a really well polished Ratchet and Clank game. And I can't wait for them to make another one. I really do hope we get another Ratchet game on PS5, because they're great.
Yeah.
They're absolutely fantastic. It's just Ratchet and
To
Clank.
your point, I only played the one for PS4 before this, and now that I've played Rift Apart, I'm not saying that I never will play the other ones, I just don't feel like I need to.
Yeah. I mean,
I might eventually someday, but...
You don't have to go. I want to say you have to go back, but Ratchet is probably... If Ratchet's in this place now where I don't know because of Wolverine, although Wolverine is the Miles Morales team, right? That's working on Wolverine.
I think so.
If that's the case, then maybe they do have this third team that could work on Ratchet and Clank. But if Ratchet and Clank gets to that point where it comes out every 4 years or so, I feel like that's the perfect time for when the new one comes out. You can be like, oh yeah, I'm ready to play a Ratchet game. You don't need to necessarily go back.
4 years is a really good... 4 years is a pace. That's long enough to miss something.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, hopefully that gap will be filled with this hopeful Sly Cooper remake, whatever it is, the Sly Cooper successor.
The PlayStation mascot platformer universe.
where everything comes back except Jak and Daxter, because Jak and Daxter fans stay hungry forever.
Gex.
Gex. Square Enix registered the trademark. It's coming back.
I didn't realize Square owned the trademark.
Yeah, they own. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I 100%.
Where's his Kingdom Hearts cameo?
I 100%. This is the sad thing. I 100% Square. I 100% believe that Square re-upped the trademarks on Gex 100% because the only reason that its popularity has grown recently is because Scott the Woz made it a fucking inside joke. I 100% they have been like, oh, we'll just re-up it because it's an inside joke, but it's all licensed. They're like, they're not going to make a new Gex game or do anything with Gex because it's Gex.
Our license.
But no. Yeah, Ratchet and Clank was damn good, and it's probably a game where I can 100% see Rift Apart being a game where I'm already feeling it, where I'm like, after I finish V3 and I've played Returnal, if I'm feeling something, that's 100% a game that I could very easily just hop on and play that game through start to finish in 4 hours without looking for collectibles and shit, and just have a fun time. Is there anything? Oh, Scarlet Nexus. Fuck me, yeah, dude. This is
and Mario
Nexus.
Golf.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite, Scarlet Golf.
Hunter, talk about golf.
Mario Nexus.
Talk about golf.
It's a very functional Mario Golf game. I definitely got the most playtime out of it just this past month when my brother was up here.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had a couple of really cool moments where on the last second to last hole twice I screwed him out of victory by getting a hole in one. And he was like, I hate you so much.
That's excellent.
But yeah, that's like the best moments that I've had from the game, several months after buying it and not playing it. So,
yeah,
it's functional. If you like Mario Golf, I guess grab it if you think you'll get something out of it,
I mean, we said it before and we'll say it again. It's much more content rich than Mario Tennis Aces ever was. So
for sure.
If you're going to get one of the Mario sports games, definitely get that one.
They continued to add things to it after launch.
They did quite a few courses as well.
Yeah, there were like even up to the point where I was playing it last month, they added 2 new ones.
Which is a lot more, is a better achievement than Mario Tennis Aces if they were to add a court, because there's only so much you can do with a fucking tennis court, whereas at least golf holes.
Yeah, all they did was
personality.
All they did was change the color.
And then someone's going to call me out and go, hang on, they actually added characters to Mario Tennis Aces? They've done that with golf as well, so fuck off with that.
Yeah, they did that with golf. They had Ninja. Man,
well,
Ninja was fun.
That was cool. I like when they do little references to really obscure characters, like the speedrun mascot from Mario Maker. That's how obscure
that was
can you get?
The first time I ever saw him was in the whatever Nintendo Direct it was that he showed up in, and I was like, "Oh, that thing's cool."
I think I was the person that was like, "Yeah, that's the Mario speedrun ninja guy." There you go.
Yeah,
the more you know. But yeah, that happened. A game that also happened: Scarlet Nexus. Kyle, you particularly liked Scarlet Nexus.
So much so I got the plat for it. And I do not do that for games. I'm not Ethan.
Hey, dude, only the true gifted gamers can touch a Buddha's feet for 6 hours and play the same song in Melody of Memory for 9 hours. What can I say?
Though, I also got Strive's plat, so maybe it was just something about June.
Yeah, maybe.
That was when you were feeling motivated.
I guess.
Yeah. But no,
Scarlet Nexus was fun. I enjoyed my time with it. And for a while after even finishing the game, I still thought about all the characters. It's just it's a fun cast. I like the game. I kind of wished it got more recognition, but Bandai's continuing to support it with post-launch DLC.
Yeah, if nothing else, at least the publisher still sees something in it, even if some people did ignore it.
Yeah, I loved the concepts behind it. I think the gameplay is super solid.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel
it should have been a quarter to
it could
half
stand
of
to
the
be
size.
Shorter.
Yeah, because I played it for 10 hours and I only got to the point where the really obvious, where the game goes from, oh, what is this thing, to it goes on a very obvious anime arc where I know where this is going. And I was like, oh, we're doing this and I'm only 10 hours in and it's chapter 4 of 14 and I've got to play both sides if I really want the true exile.
Yeah.
Especially for an action RPG like this, you really need to nail the length of the game because otherwise it just starts to feel repetitive.
I mean,
Yeah, and it certainly did with the playing both sides, and like the way they paced out the encounters towards the back half of the game got old.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get to that point.
Last chapter of the game kind of dropped the ball.
It sure did.
Had a cool boss fight at the end.
Yeah, it had
or
a
near
cool
the end
boss
of it,
fight, but I was like, every time I've gotten a new encounter, I'm like, wow, this is something I never gave Devil May Cry enough credit for, was actually knowing when to stop.
Yeah, it's like I always used to
real,
think.
yeah.
I always used to think when I looked at the lengths of games like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, and I'd be like, really, only like 6 to 8 hours? That seems kind of short. But then when you play an action or like an action game like that, where it's really long, you then really start to go, oh no, the tuning of the pace is actually a really important thing with these games.
Yeah.
So that you don't get tired.
It's much better to be shorter and replayable than
Yeah.
long and
Because the thing with games like DMC or Bayonetta is that they're short and they're meant to be replayed and be perfected. But Scarlet Nexus doesn't have a combat system that needs perfection. It's very bare bones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's functional, but very easy.
It's really simplistic,
And, like, visually satisfying.
Yeah.
You know?
And then once you find, like, the best combination of your partner's abilities to use, there's not much more thought to it. Besides, like, once you figure out Arashi's double team.
Yeah,
or
duplication
Arashi's
plus,
speed.
elements.
Yeah.
Best combo.
Either fire or electric. Like, game looks flashy as hell, though. Game is still fun, and I'd big recommend it.
No, I do like what I played, and I am going to attempt to go back to it eventually. It was just I was so JRPG'd out at that point where I was like, I've had enough of anime bullshit plots for my mind can't handle any more anime bullshit right now. I needed to play something else.
It's just funny to hear him say this as it's months removed, but he's currently playing Danganronpa V3.
Oh yeah. I mean, you see, my mind's already going back to the fuck this bullshit place because I got
exactly.
I played a tiny bit before we started the podcast, and it was like the perfect time for Hunter to see me fucking go insane, and I was like, oh god.
There's this recorded clip of about a minute and a half of me just laughing at him.
Yeah, genuinely. Let's move over to July and September, and let's push the pace up because we're already like 50 minutes into this episode, and we're only halfway through this damn year. So, I am looking.
Skyward Sword HD.
Oh, can we talk about that for a second? Fuck me, those controls suck either way.
I don't understand why you have to push the L1 button to move
because
the camera.
Nintendo doesn't think. Because Nintendo doesn't think. They didn't think, do you know what you use more? The camera. So let's have the sword be the thing that you hold a button to use. No, Nintendo's like, no, that doesn't make sense. Let's have it so that the analog stick always swings your sword, and then the thing that you're going to do with the stick, which is move the camera, let's make you hold down L the entire time you want to do that, you fucker. It's so unbelievably stupid.
Weird. It's like, I've never seen someone step on such an obvious rake.
The bad thing was it was that shit of a fucking control scheme. I went to the motion controls and was like, let me try the motion controls out for a second. And I was like, they're still shit, but they're not as bad as people make it out to be. But I didn't get more than like 5 hours out of Skyward Sword
really
because
bad at all.
Yeah. My review of Skyward Sword is I genuinely do not like the old Zelda, the old 3D Zelda formula. I just genuinely don't like it. Because that's like the third, I think, 3D Zelda that I like. Wind Waker, I forced myself through because I bought a Wii U for it, basically. That and Mario Kart. So I forced myself all the way through that one. Then Ocarina of Time, I got like 8 hours in and went, this is shit. And then I played Skyward Sword and I was like, these games aren't shit, I just hate the idea of what a 3D Zelda is. Please kill me. So that was that. 2D Zeldas. The bits and pieces that I played of 2D Zeldas, they're cool. Like 2D Zeldas. 3D Zelda, cringe, awful.
I
bad.
played and really enjoyed Skyward Sword again, so there's that. I had a lot of fun with it still. I hold to my opinion that it deserves more respect than it gets from people.
I know I've said this before, but I've played through Skyward Sword one time and have never felt a need to replay it.
I think it has an interesting story, and I really like how it feels like, at least with Link and Zelda, it feels like they have more character than they have done in previous entries.
Yeah.
They sure do, and it's great.
And I feel like I can see a lot of the stepping points where it's like Skyward Sword walked so Breath of the Wild could run. I can very much
There are
see
so
that.
many instances that are like that, and people don't seem to understand that, and it makes me so angry.
Like, even just like people always praise Breath of the Wild Zelda, and I'm like, I see a lot of what they did in Skyward Sword with Breath of the Wild Zelda. They were like, oh, people like it when she's an actual character and not just a gimmick. So
it was refined to a better degree in Breath of the Wild, but she was still really good in Skyward Sword. I liked her a lot in that game.
Yeah,
She's one of my favorite iterations of Zelda, alongside the Spirit Track Zelda. That's one that doesn't get enough attention.
Yeah. It is funny. They have kind of, especially in the new iteration, like the newer iterations. God, fucking Skyward Sword is 2011 or something. God, it's not new.
Spirit
it's
Tracks
like-
was 2009.
That was literally the one. Literally, Spirit Tracks, then Skyward Sword, then Breath of the Wild. Basically, like the three best iterations of Zelda, all back to back. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's like they finally learnt their lesson. You know, this character that the franchise is based off, maybe they shouldn't just be a fucking fridging character or just like about like a Princess Peach kind of get fucked character. Maybe we should actually have some character development in a way. And I'm like, well done, Nintendo. Only took you 30 years.
The weird thing about the history of this character is half the time it's like they don't do that up until the end. And it's like, why do you do it in such a weird half step?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like
sure, make her a ninja in Ocarina of Time, only get yoinky sploinked at the end anyway.
Yeah.
Or
Like,
do
she
that
had
in
her
a half
moments
step.
near the end of Twilight Princess too, with like the horseback.
After being absent from most of the
Or they
game.
do it the opposite.
Basically.
Or they do it the opposite way in Wind Waker, where Wind Waker you have this cool like pirate girl who's like really cool, and then as soon as she learns she's Zelda, all the character drains from her body and she becomes the most boring fucking thing ever. It's like you can't win.
And then in Phantom Hourglass, she's back to Tetra.
Why not? But fucking I digress.
Hourglass isn't real.
Let's just get Hunter off the topic by saying the magic words Chris Tale.
Ah, yes, this RPG. This was a great game. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Its art style is very striking. I had a lot of fun with it.
Oh, he's done.
I played 4 hours of it. It's alright.
Go watch my review.
A bit slow for my liking, but
yeah, it was a bit slow for my liking as well when I was watching the review. But that was just me personally, because I was sitting there. I edited it all in one session. I was so sick of that fucking first boss. But there you go.
Dude, you should try fighting it. It's worse.
I'm good. Death's Door also came out in July.
Oh yeah, Death's Door.
Oh right, it did. Death's Door was also pretty cool. I played that, a couple weeks ago. It was quite charming.
And then, did you want to mention League of Legends Pokemon Edition, Pokemon Unite?
Not really, no.
No.
I played one game of it and went, wow, so this is why I don't like League. Cool.
That's one more game than I played.
I even lost the Game Awards bet on it.
We all did.
Pokemon.
Okay, Cal, what came out in August?
That's a really good question.
Did somebody say nothing? Did someone say, wasn't this where Ghost of Sushi, man?
Dude,
Guys.
Paw Patrol the movie, Adventure City Calls. Everyone's favorite.
All right. August was so empty that
Hades
I had time
is
to
here.
basically replay Hades.
That's right, this was Hades month.
It sure was.
Wait, Hades was August? I thought it was September.
No, it was August 13th.
Oh fuck! It wasn't even late August. Jeez.
No, August was just so empty. I had time to basically replay it. It was amazing.
What's funny is that Hades and that Paw Patrol game I brought up as a joke came out on the same day.
And we all know what won. Paw Patrol. Nah, Hades was good. Obviously, I feel like I still have to say that I got product provided by Private Division and Supergiant. But I liked it.
bought
It's
my
very
copy.
good. Yeah, I just feel bad because I'm like, I got a copy for free, so if I say that it's great, is that me selling out? I don't know.
I mean, if you really
I don't think so.
enjoyed
I've
really
been
enjoyed
buying, I bought enough of them for you.
I'd buy a physical copy if I could be bothered to own physical copies anymore.
If I had one.
It was one of those things where I was like, should I buy a physical copy? Should I? And then I'm like, no, because digital's just easier. I'm getting to that point now where if a game comes out new, I'll buy it physically if I want it physically. But if it goes on sale, if I buy it digitally now, there's no chance of me getting it physical. I'm just like, salut, dude. 07s. When the servers die, I die. Goodbye. Not happening. But no, Hades was a good thing. You've got indie stuff that we didn't end up playing, like Axiom Verge 2, Boyfriend Dungeon. A lot of stuff came out in August for smaller.
I heard nice things about Boyfriend Dungeon.
Yeah, there was quite a few little indie game stuff. 12 Minutes came out.
It sure did.
Oh, Francis throwing something for audio listeners. That's why I muted him tonight, because he's an aggressive person.
All right, yeah. Yes, I'm the
Tune
peak
in next
of
week
rage.
to watch him do it again.
Like a Viking that time, though.
God, Kyle, it's like you're like a fucking soothsayer. Predictions. How does he do it?
But yeah, 12 Minutes came out, and it's one of those games where I don't hate that I played it, but it certainly didn't live up to the premise.
It's a great family game, dude.
Yeah,
you got the joke in again. Ha. How many times am I gonna say that? Hopefully this is the last time, because I'm hoping this is the last time we ever bring up 12 Minutes. There were some games that did come out, though. Let's be honest. There was two big games. No
More Heroes came out around this time.
No More Heroes 3 and Psychonauts 2 both came out.
Oh, right. Psychonauts. Another one that's on the list with me to get eventually.
Yeah. Heard great things, though.
Maybe I'll play the first game first. I might just go into 2.
I mean, I will say this much: it is on PS5 and PS4. The original Psychonauts is, because they did a PS2 classic
version. It's just kind of like,
so it's easy to access.
Yeah.
But yeah, heard great things. And then, what did you guys think of No More Heroes 3? It's been like 5 months. Opinions changed.
I never finished this game.
Damn.
Nate, he just recently played it, so I've been chatting with him about it, and the parts that are like actually the boss fights and new stuff is cool, but there's
Everything
so much
else is just a slog.
There's so much filler that it feels like, okay, so I didn't review this game because I didn't feel like it, but this would have gotten a hesitant if I did, because
nice.
It's
a shame when we don't chill out and give it the standard recommend. We don't make the reviews,
if I don't like it, I probably won't be as motivated to make a video about it. It's just science.
When we're not getting paid for it, or people aren't giving us review copies, it's a lot harder to passionately write about how mediocre a game is. That is very true.
But what I was saying is, it's like hard to tell anyone who isn't already a No More Heroes fan to go and get it, and even then, I'd be like, you should really like it before you go. You should really like No More Heroes before you go and get it.
Yeah,
because like the combat in the game is the best it's been, and it would be nice if there were like new things to do with that combat, like as far as stages and stuff. But they took out the levels before the bosses. They brought back the Baron Sandbox.
Getting money to buy into the boss fights.
Hello.
Yeah. Like, it felt like, because there were no levels before the bosses, it felt like I was spending more time doing the filler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it wasn't optional.
Yeah.
Classic.
Because that's what I really loved about No More Heroes 2. It was you could just go through boss to boss to boss and just keep feeling like you're progressing the story. But in 3, it just feels like, all right, it's time to stop playing the game for a little bit. You need to go get a job and go mow the lawn for 5 hours.
Also, they kept killing some of the guys with the cooler designs, like, before you even fought them, and that was a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will say, though, these aliens, the boss fights were pretty cool.
Yeah.
I especially like the magnetism guy at the start. What it's like the first or second
Gold
boss.
Joe.
I don't remember. I didn't commit their names to memory. They didn't
I'm-
last long enough for that. But
I believe his name was Gold Joe.
he was a really cool boss fight.
Yeah, he was fun.
Yeah. I have nothing to say because I
don't know.
genuinely forgot it even came out.
Other than that, like, it's No More Heroes.
Let's move to
I
September.
hope you're a fan.
I also just want to say to people watching on video and being like, yo, I swear Ethan's yawned like 20 times. Can you guys chill? It's 20 to 3. I've been up since like 6 a.m. I just want to point that out.
I hope you don't hurt your back when you.
Oh,
do
it hurts
that.
every time, dude. I'm literally having to mute my mic because I'm like, my back.
Oh, dude. I'll have to unstrap this lumbar support cushion and give it to you.
Genuinely, dude. I think I'm going to need like to see like a fucking therapist at this point. A
Chiropractor.
chiropractor, that's the word. A back therapist, also known as a chiropractor. September was a big boy.
Yeah, September 10th alone is like the most stacked day of the year.
Yeah, dude. Bus Simulator 21 came out.
Yeah.
Gotta say,
Everyone's
compared to Bus Simulator 20, bit of a mid title. You know, like I'm hoping the expansion pass really builds up that score again. Because man, compared to last year's edition, just seems to be lacking in buses. But yeah,
Oh god, look at all the games in September.
Yeah, there was a
We're gonna
lot.
be here for forever.
nah, we'll if we've already talked and done a whole podcast episode on it, you can go and check them out for more in-depth details. But for example, Life is Strange True Colors, I feel like we've spoken praises about
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much.
Go watch the spoiler cast. It's a really good game.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably is the best game in the Life is Strange franchise. So, really good game.
agree.
Really happy it came out. Tales of Arise.
Tales of Arise.
Hunter has also
I like
spoken
Tales
praises.
of Arise a lot. It is fantastic. Go and play it.
WarioWare is WarioWare. We
That
have
sure did happen.
that sure did happen. I'm sure 3 people bought it. Remember,
Speaking of
WarioWare.
things that happened.
Oh
Deathloop.
Oh,
God,
yes.
Deathloop is like Ghost of Tsushima, where everybody else loves it, and I went, it's alright. You know, like I don't hate Deathloop. I feel like some people have the idea that I hate Deathloop. It's probably because I keep saying I hate Deathloop, but I don't hate
Yeah, that'd
Deathloop.
do it.
I don't hate Deathloop. I think it's a fine game. I also see why it did get nominated for a lot of stuff that it did. It's just, in my opinion, it's an arcane game. You know, it's very much does what it says on the tin, and to me, there was nothing excellent. There was nothing like outstanding about it. I didn't see what everybody else saw. I saw a very linear sandbox, whereas everyone else saw this infinite potential thing, and I'm like, there's 8 weapons and only like 3 ways to do certain stuff, and there's only 1 way to do the loot properly.
Yeah.
To me, that's not what I want. Although, to be fair, when I saw the first trailer, my concept was it was an open world island and you had to kill all of the visionaries in one loop properly. Like, and it was all connected. Which, after I found out it wasn't that, I was kind of disappointed because I was like, that's a cool idea for a video game. Hopefully someone does that.
I hope so. I hope somebody does that sometime in the future. But yeah, I'm in the same boat where Deathloop is a game that I played, and I'm like, this really is just kind of like a bog standard AAA game that isn't doing anything for me.
It sucks as well because I was so looking forward to it. Like, coming into this year, it was one of my most anticipated games. I was really looking forward to Deathloop. So to fall flat on it was kind of sad for me. But hey, I can see why people liked it. We also had stuff like Deltarune come out. Still haven't played Deltarune. Hunter did.
Deltarune Chapter 2 is, I think, my favorite thing between all of Toby Fox's like video game work so far.
Mm-hmm. Positive praise.
So there's that.
You had other like mini stuff that I know a load of people will have talked about, like Skatebird, Kyle's Tragedy. Well, that game did not do as well as he hoped.
Why did that game get like bombed on?
Because the reviews, because the controls were apparently garbage. That's why it looked nice, but apparently the controls weren't that great. Yeah.
I remember seeing the reviews do bad. I'm like, that seems a bit harsh.
Yeah, guys, calm down. It's just a bird game. You gave 12 minutes better reviews. What the fuck?
Yeah, come on. That was basically my thought process, because like I was about to be like, if I didn't have like Kana that came out like 2 days later, I was gonna like buy it and play around with it for a minute.
Yeah.
Just to be like, it's probably not that bad.
We should also mention Cruising Blast also came out, which is that racing game on Switch that people seem to talk about a lot for some reason. So that came out. I hope you got the
I've
3
never
people.
even heard of that.
Yeah, it's like
I think it's from this dude who made Cruising USA. Or
yeah, it's
whatever,
like an
right?
arcade kind of stupid racing game where you do loads of massive stupid jumps, and it's very unrealistic, but it's very fun and arcadey that people like. Kana.
Kana.
Yeah, Kena Bridge of Spirits, really solid, very visually appealing platformer. Got a very cool atmosphere to it as well. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah. I can't wait to play it. I didn't buy it in the sale in the end because I was like, I have games that I need to play. I'm not playing Ken. But yeah, I'll play it in a bit.
I'm definitely interested to see if Ember Labs tackles another video game after this.
They've already said they are.
They do. Oh, cool.
They've already said
I'm
that.
Definitely interested to see what they do next.
They are definitely making another video game. Diablo 2 got its remaster that I think everybody forgot about instantly. But yeah, so that's
my brother was excited to play this, and he was like talking about it during the run up to it. He had bought Hades. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to put this down to play Diablo for a little bit. He played Diablo for about a night and went back to Hades.
That's the spirit. And remember, Bobby Kotick needs to be fired. Big pog.
Yes, fire Bobby Kotick. You could instill Diablo himself as the new CEO of Activision, and it would be better.
Very true. Death Stranding got a HD remaster PS5 thing that none of us played. Judgment got its sequel, Lost Judgment, which I heard good things about, so that's available. We did not play it. Ghost Runner got its PS5 version. I played the PS4 version of that this year. It's an excellent little platformer, weird hybrid thing where you basically play Genji in a platformer where you get hit by anything, you instantly die, and it's very cool, and you control time, and I highly recommend that game. It was one of those sleeper ones that I played on a whim because it was on PS Now, and I have a PS Now subscription. I was like, damn, that's actually really good. So yeah, Ghost Runner, very fun game. AI Somnia Files got on Xbox. Hot Wheels Unleashed, that was a thing that people liked more than I thought they would. Right. Final 3 months. Hold on, guys. We're almost there. We said that this would only take up like half an episode, but it will be the whole thing. I can promise you that much.
Oh man, I love it when we do this.
It always happens.
It happens a lot more than you'd think.
Genuinely, the amount of times, guys, you don't understand that we have topics.
I almost feel stupid that it took us an hour to come up with doing this now.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't take us an hour. We procrastinated for an hour. I went away for a minute and went, right, so what we do it? This, and then Carl was like, how about we do this instead? I was like, okay, good. So it really took us like 2 minutes. We just procrastinated on thinking for an hour.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, anyway.
Classic.
What came out in October?
Nick All-Stars Brawl.
God.
Metroid.
That sure existed.
That sure existed. That surely wasn't a
It was
Super
not the
Monkey
Smash
Ball
Bros.
fad.
Killer.
Oh yeah, Super Monkey Ball happened. Gary talked about that on an episode that you can go and check out. I think it's the Metroid is overrated one.
Yeah,
So-
That makes sense because Dread came out
is the
3 days
Metroid
later.
episode.
Yeah, we also, before we talk about Dread, we should also talk about Far Cry 6 came out. It also came out in 2012 when Far Cry 3 came out. So, you take your pick which version you want to play because it's the same fucking game. Also,
Yeah.
Ubisoft is almost as bad as Bobby Kotick. So, just
Fire
just
Yusuke
FYI.
Mo.
If I
Instill Diablo as the CEO of Ubisoft too.
why not? Dude? Why not? He can take on both. But yeah, Metroid Dread came out. That was a good
Fantastic
weekend.
video game. Go watch
Pretty
our
good game.
review.
Yeah.
My review.
Yeah, I liked it. Didn't like it as much as
Our
everyone else,
review.
but our review. Connor.
I put a lot of work into that game.
Yeah.
We put a lot of work.
Yeah, we did. I made a thumbnail. What did you do, Kyle?
I think I gave him some opinions
Oh, well, there you
when
go.
he asked for them.
Well, there you go.
I don't know if he took them, but I sure gave them to him.
But Metroid Dread was fun. Tetris Effect came to Switch. That's fun.
Back for Blood.
Back for Blood. God, I forgot that game came out. Do people like it in the end?
It won an award, I think.
My brothers spent 2 weeks playing it and also trying to convince me to get it, where I was like, okay, if it goes on sale and you guys are still playing it, then maybe. But they quit before that, so I didn't have to buy it.
Yeah, that's cool.
So there's the metric for how people were feeling about it for me.
Nice. Carrion, the indie game came out that a lot of people liked. That came out in October.
Oh man, I need to play that.
And then we have shocker, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, a game that everybody expected to be ass from all of its trailers, turned out to be a good game. So that was a glow up because man, I remember seeing the Square Enix demo with the jelly cubes, and I was like, this is like 8 minutes too long, and it was an 8-minute demo.
Yeah, went on for a bit long.
But I thought it looked decent. I was like, but man, this demo sucks. And then all the trailers after that, I was like, oh god, this looks generic as fuck. So for someone, so for them, for the reviews to come out and be like, no, the gameplay is actually really solid and it tells a really endearing story, I'm like, god, didn't have that on my bingo card, especially after Avengers. So good for them. Riders Republic from Ubisoft also came out. I did play the demo for that. I did play the demo for that, and what I can say was, God, I did not enjoy that video game. So, hope someone did, because I didn't. Oh, and then finally in October, Mario Party Superstars came out.
Right
Super
above
fun
that,
game.
a game named Crab Game came out. That just makes me
The
laugh.
fucking meme game from Twitch, the Squid Game ripoff. Yeah,
Oh, is that what it was?
yeah, it was.
That's boring.
Yeah, a
Oh.
lot more
I'm less
boring when
interested.
you know what it is.
I was hoping it was like a crab rave, but a rhythm game.
No.
I was also thinking Crab Rave.
Also, I should very much, before we go to Mario Party, I should also mention Age of Empires did get released as well. Age of Empires 4, which we all forgot was a thing until Game Awards, and it won something. So yeah,
Oh, it won Best Sim.
yeah, it did. So there you go. That also came out. But yeah, Mario Party Superstars, decent Mario Party. Online works surprisingly
Yeah.
well.
Super fun.
Mario Party Fridays.
Hasn't happened for 2 weeks, but one day we'll bring it back. November. Oh my god, look at all these great games, guys. There's nothing really. Just Dance. Binding of Isaac.
Forza.
Oh, the Animal Crossing DLC came out. Very good DLC. We didn't really talk about it that much, but the free stuff, very good. The paid stuff, very good. I wish they hadn't released it all at once, to be honest, because it was a bit too overwhelming, so I never really got fully into it because it was a bit too much to do. But hey, what can you do? Forza came out. People loved Forza. Call of Duty Vanguard
Skyrim
came out.
again.
Vanguard, probably one of the most mediocre Call of Duties, and that's saying something.
Fire Bobby Carter.
Fire Bobby Carter, thank you. Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, the definitive edition came out. Imagine.
Oh, man.
Not
My brother
only
was playing that for a lot of the time he was here, and just witnessing the silliness was fun.
yeah, not the definitive edition, can say that much. Yeah, Skyrim came out again. Hope you guys enjoyed fishing. Shin Megami Tensei 5 came out. I put a good hour into it.
Good job, Ethan.
SMT is for
Anything
SMT. No, SMT is for SMT fans, and I'm happy that you guys like Torture, but I'm good. What else? Battlefield 2042 came out. That was a fucking train wreck a bit, wasn't it? Jeez.
Oh yeah,
That did way worse than I thought. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl came out. God, those were worse than I thought they'd be as well.
Those were games.
November was the November was the
Jackpot, both
month
of them.
of disappointment, wasn't it? It was any game.
November was literally November for me. It was me finishing Tales of Arise because it was long, and I had started it like right at the end of October. And then Death's Door that's when Death's Door was available on PlayStation. So thankfully, nothing of importance actually.
Literally, Forza came out in the early part of the month, and Animal Crossing, and they were like, "Here's the two good things for the month.
That's it.
Now here's your bowl of mediocre. It's like fiber. You just got to get it down you. You know, it was like, here's your bowl of mediocre." But don't worry. Then December came to save everybody. Apparently,
Did it?
Halo came out.
Oh, cool.
Halo fans seem to really enjoy this.
Seems
one,
to be
so
the
that's
best
cool.
Halo game that 343 has made, actually.
Yeah.
And
I've seen them do some cool things in the game, like launching themselves with the rockets and all that.
yeah, both the multiplayer and the single player are apparently very, very good. So happy for Halo to finally have a good game again after like 10 years, 12 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Look forward to eventually playing it on a fridge if I can ever find one. Danganronpa Collection came out. Haha, what a game.
Ethan's having fun with that.
Sure
Yeah.
is. Solar Ash came out. That's been entertaining for me so far. It's got a very cool visual style, and the movement is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Love to see it.
And Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker came out for 10 days, and now no one can play it.
And killed the game.
Yeah, and then we got to put down the release date of the, was it the 17th of December, where Final Fantasy XIV was de-released for the everything, was unreleased for everything.
I know it's a
People
couple
who
days.
already
ago.
have it can still play it, right?
Yeah.
You just
Okay.
can't.
You just can't
get
buy
it.
it.
I didn't know if they just like switched off the server entirely. Be like, okay, give everyone a break.
We're turning it off and on again. You guys have a timeout.
Everybody, stop
Okay.
waking up at 6 a.m., please.
Yeah, just stop. Just stop playing Final Fantasy XIV up to level 60 for free. Please stop.
And instead play Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate on your Windows machine.
That apparently is a terrible
That
port.
you're not
Yeah.
that you're not playing FF14 on anymore.
Just remember, guys, just like all the other Square ports, like the Kingdom Hearts ones, they got the Final Fantasy VII one also pretty garbage. You love to see
Is
it.
it littered with crashes too?
Yeah, also the frame rate timer is
Epic.
wrong. The frame rate timer will like lock to 30 and it's dropping frames, and Square's just programmed it so it won't drop. It will not suggest that the frames are being dropped. It's quite good.
Why does Square Enix not know how to make a port?
Square was like, we fixed the frame rate issue by making the frame rate counter lie instead of actually fixing the frame rate issue. Yeah, classic. And then there's just a load of ports really for the rest of the month. Like,
Yeah, a bunch of ports.
and there you go.
Pretty much, yeah.
And with that, what can we say other than that's been the year overall? What would you guys say? Give the year a conclusion. What would you say?
I mean, it's no 2017, but I've still kept myself entertained throughout the year. There are things that I'll be looking back on fondly.
Yeah, like I know year one for HGO very much was a pretty jam-packed year because we had
2020 brought the heat.
2020 brought, so it was like it's been a weird year because there's definitely been games released this year, but it's been harder to do the podcast just because the sheer amount of big games coming out has definitely been less. But
And
at the
when
same
the months were slow,
It
we
was slow.
really felt it.
yeah.
Yeah.
We felt it, man. We felt it because we hadn't even come up with copying 3x3s off of other podcasts yet, so we didn't even have that to fall back on. We were just like, "Yeah, are we doing better? Are we doing best video game soundtracks that are in the rain? Is that what we're doing this week? Is this what we
In
come
the
to?
rain.
Yeah, only in the rain because we've already done every other weather type." But no, yeah, it was an interesting year. There's something like I said. I don't know if I said it at the start or if I said it before we started. There's been some great games, but there's not been that one standout for me. There's not been that one game where I'm like, this was what I'll remember 2021 for.
It's like the highs of this year were pretty
I've got
solid.
one of those. Like, my number one game this year, it would definitely have been a very commanding number 2 last year. Only losing to Hades.
I mean, my number one for this year would probably be number 3 or 4 from last year, but that's just because there was so much, like, last year was crazy. We had just so much shit. We had Remake. No, was Remake last year?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
Remake
fuck, it
was
was
last
year, wasn't it?
It was
Oh.
April last year.
Remake was last
Sure
year.
was.
Royal was last year. Last of Us Part 2 was last year.
Yeah.
Like, there was so much shit last year. And then this year, it was like, yeah, we got Ratchet and Returnal and It Takes Two, which are all fun games, but nothing on that level where it stopped the world for a while.
Mhm.
But hey, there you go. Let us know what your favourite games have been this past year. We'll be talking all about our games of the year in a couple of weeks. When it's actually next year, because unlike Jeff, we wait for the year to be done. And also so I can
Yeah.
play Returnal. But yeah, our links are on screen right now. You can go and follow us on social media platforms, keep up to date with everything we do outside of the show. And hey, If you don't want to keep up to date with us and just want to keep up to date with the show, that's cool too. You can follow us on Twitter at HotGamersOnly. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/HotGamersOnly. And hey, if you don't want to look at our stupid faces, that's cool too. You can head to your favourite podcast service, search for Hot Gamers Only, where you can find us on your favourites, like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And yeah, if you are on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, leave us a 5-star review because it really helps us out. And we do appreciate each and every one of you guys for doing so. But yeah, thank you for hanging out with us this week. We will be back same time, same place next week for more. We already know what it is, but you won't know until then. Ooh,
It's already been recorded.
the suspense. Oh, you won't believe it. It's a game changer.
Dude, there were so many things that happened in that episode, you won't believe it.
You won't believe it. Oh,
My shirt was purple.
was it? I don't even remember.
So
What?
was Ethan's background.
It's
Well,
true.
it was purpley. It was another Unleash the Archer shirt with like the neon colors.
Spoilers. Let them dream. Let them think. Let them go. Oh, I wonder what shirt Hunter's wearing under the same jacket. We'll never know.
Hunter just wore a purple jumpsuit.
That. Oh God.
That's it.
I don't want-
It was
I don't
true. It
wanna
was very
imagine
revealing. It was very revealing. But hey, we got to get the content
that.
somehow.
Really? You only see the upper part of me.
What next week's episode is crazy. Well, that's all we can say. But yeah, thank you
We're
so
all
much.
upside down.
Yeah, we flipped it upside down. You can only see the lower halves of our bodies this time. It shows a back.
This just reminds me of that Sephiroth with everyone's legs meme that came out last year.
Yeah, very true. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, guys, this week. We'll be back next week for a special episode, and then we're gonna have a quick break, quick hiatus to enjoy the holidays. And we hope you guys have an awesome holiday season as well, whether you celebrate it or not. Hey, you get days off either way, so hopefully you do. If you don't,
You
that
deserve
sucks.
'em.
You deserve them. But yeah, have an awesome break, and yeah, we'll see you next week for more. But until then, yeah, have an awesome week. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.